It is October 13th, 2016, and you are listening to the Oddity Archive, Episode 1, a podcast where each month we play a game and then get together and talk about it. Hopefully we'll see where this kind of goes. Joining me today are two close friends.
Right on cue.
Now I have to put that in there. Opening soda cans around the world is Mr. Ryan Curry. How are you today, Ryan?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Oh, not too bad. Trying to start this podcast here. And joining me as well is His Lordship Tomislav Repek. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you? How are you, my dear child?
I'm doing great. We are gathered here today to discuss.
I'm so fucking flattered. The Lordship.
Well, you only deserve the best, Tom.
Thank you.
Yeah. How's the kingdom?
I'm trying to come up with something right now, really clever, but I just can't. Depressing.
All right, so let's jump into things. We are here today to talk about Hitman Blood Money, the fourth title in the Hitman franchise, developed by Danish developer IO Interactive and released for the PS2, Xbox OG, 360, and PC in 2006. 10 years ago, as of May, shockingly.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's been a little while. IO Interactive was known at the time mostly for making Hitman games. They had also dabbled in a different franchise called Freedom Fighters a few years earlier. Up until that point, that was basically all they had made. But following Blood Money, they'd go on to make both the Kane Lynch games as
Blood
well as Blood Manny, as well as Mini Ninjas before returning to Hitman with Absolution and the episodic Hitman games earlier this year. So to begin with, I kind of want to talk to each of you about how you first got into Blood Money. When did you first play it? How did you first play it? Were you a fan of the franchise to begin with, or was this your first Hitman game? I'll start with Tom. So, Tom, what's your history with Blood Money?
Fuck. I can't even think. Fuck. How did I? Oh yeah. Okay. So yeah, homeboy down the street. He was pretty much like he played fucking like Splinter Cell and shit. That's like where I was playing Splinter Cell. Like, and we were doing kind of like LAN fucking shit. So I'd bring my PS2 over and like play Chaos Theory, and then like he also had Blood Money. And like I watched him play, and I was like, yo, this game's fucking dope. And there's like one level I'm sure you played where it's like did you beat it?
I did, yeah.
Okay, all right. So then you know the fucking Playboy mountain or that penthouse or whatever the fuck. You know how there's a hot tub?
Yep.
So what we did was like killed everybody in the level, just fucking went guns blazing, and then we literally took like 2 hours and dragged everybody into that fucking hot tub, bro. I think I swear I told you this back in like fucking
you probably have
like grade 10, bro. Yo, this is so fucking classic. Like yeah, we shot the bottom and all the bodies like clogged. Like 20 of them fell, and miraculously like a few,
my
like
game
some of them.
crashed when I did that.
Oh man, like the PS2 was fucking chugging. Like 20 bodies like fell and hit, and then for some reason like 5 of them, like I don't know what the hell happened with their collision, but they were like they fell on their heads, so they were doing like headstands, and they stayed there like on the ice, like vertically, like not move. And then you look up and you just see like 150 bodies like trying to get through, but they're all clogged, and like the odd one just keeps falling. Fucking great. And then they all just flush through, and then the game fucking, and then the system just like crashed. And yeah. So and then after that I was like, I gotta get this game, and then I fucking bought it and played it, beat it. That's how I kind of got.
So did you?
It. I was never a fan before.
Play any other
no, I never
afterwards?
played Hitman 1. I think it was like what Hitman 1 and 2, and then it was Blood Money. I think.
So yeah, it was Hitman Codename 47. Then
is this like Silent Assassin?
Silent Assassin, Contracts, and then Blood Money.
Yeah, exactly. So I started at Blood Money. I never played the ones.
Interesting. I think that anecdote is probably really indicative of most people's experiences with Hitman and kind of really puts into context what makes this game so great. Spoilers, I really liked it. But
great.
Next
that was a fucking spoiler? Jesus Christ.
Next, I'm going to ask Ryan, what was your first experience with Hitman Blood Money? How did you come to the game?
Well, in my town, in Stittsville, we used to have like those kind of like, I don't know, ours was a Rogers, and they had like the Rogers Video where you could like rent games and movies.
Oh man, I never brought games back there. Fucking kept them.
Kept them. Well, I think Rogers Video went out of business, so you're.
Yeah, well, I don't even think they even cared to crack down. But anyways, go on.
Yeah, Yeah, so one day, I don't know, I was just kind of intrigued, like, as, I don't know, 2006, I don't know how old I would have been there, like, I don't know, I would have been in middle school, I guess, or in the middle. I was intrigued, I guess, by this guy in a suit holding a Garrett wire.
Just good marketing.
So, I don't know, I rented it for like a week, and then I rented it again because I liked it so much, and I don't know that. And it was my first. Blood Money was my introduction to the whole series, and then I ended up going back and playing. Well, I didn't beat them, but I went out and I ended up playing the first two because there was like a little pack on the original Xbox. But I didn't like them as much. I like Blood Money a lot more.
Yeah,
special about the game.
I haven't played the other Hitman games either. So in general, this was my first time playing Hitman Blood Money. I am the sweet summer child coming to this game for the first time in 2016. But my impression is the first few games aren't as open as Blood Money, but they have like hints of like they're kind of moving towards the kind of open approach assassination effort that Hitman Blood Money has. Is that indicative of what you played, Ryan?
Yeah, like I think it's Silent Assassin. Though there's one, I'm pretty sure it's Silent Assassin where you church. And like some priest is taking you under his wing, and that it's getting similar towards it, but it's still not. I don't know. They kind of have, yeah, like you were saying, they have the main elements of it, but they don't. It's not like the same. Like, to me, at least, Blood Money was leagues above those games.
All right, so let's talk about a little bit about what Hitman Blood Money is then. So you play as Agent 47, who is a clone of, from what I understand, this isn't in Blood Money that they talk about this, they allude to it. He's a clone of the 5 best killers in the world. Apparently in the first game, you spend your 5 main targets are these 5 killers that he was cloned off of. At least that's my understanding. And throughout the game, you're given a series of assassination targets, and how you go about doing it is basically up to you, and that's kind of the appeal of these games. They're described as stealth games. Like if you look on Wikipedia or anything, it'll be like Hitman, stealth game franchise. But I think that comes up a little short with Blood Money, because I think Blood Money leverages a lot of elements from adventure games, like kind of like get item, use item here, unlock new thing, as well as immersive sims, which put a heavy emphasis on like player choice and kind of player expression and respecting experimentation. So if you want to drop a hot tub full of corpses, the game provides an ability to do that. It's going to be impossible to talk about this game without sounding a little morbid, I think, because just the nature of what this game is.
Yeah, like, well, I mean, it's Hitman. Like, you're literally fucking out there killing people for contracts, whatever.
It is a sandbox of murder.
Essentially.
Yeah. So, the game is divided into these missions, which have some required and optional objectives. And each mission is bookended by a scene from a kind of flash forward or like a present day dialogue between a reporter and a is he from the CIA? I'm not entirely sure who the wheelchair
47?
guy is. No, the guy in the wheelchair with the scars all over his face.
Oh, he's
from the CIA, I think.
Yeah. So that kind of bookends all the missions.
He's just like if he's not part of the CIA, he's a very, very well-connected person in the government because he knows all about the stuff.
Yeah. And then each mission begins with a little briefing, and sometimes a scene to kind of set up the kind of story backdrop of the mission. And it gives you a little opportunity to upgrade and select equipment before starting up the mission. In general, I don't know if you guys can remember your first playthrough, or maybe if you don't remember your first playthrough, your favorite way of approaching the game. What was your general approach to levels? Did you guys kind of just go with the flow, or did you try and always be perfect silent assassin from the beginning? How did you approach a mission when you started? Start with you, Tom.
I think at first what I tried to do is I tried to I didn't really try to go like balls to the wall, kind of like, here we go, like I'm gonna do it on the first attempt. Like, maybe the first attempt I tried. Like I really tried to see if I could challenge myself to do it, I guess. Like silent assassin, like I don't know, like the way, I don't know, it was kind of meant, right? But then after the first try, if I couldn't figure it out, I would kind of like take my time and kind of go to area to area, even if it took like multiple tries to kind of like figure shit out on my own if I could, like figure out a path. It's like the harder the difficulty you went, like the more less and less like tools you had like available, right? So like sometimes there was like I think if you went on whatever the hardest difficulty was, like you can only, like when you load up the map, you can only see the target or something like that. Or I don't even know, I can't even remember. It was something like you see no civilians and you only have the target on your map, and you don't even have a map. Like it's just like a gray area. You just see the target moving, something like that. And so like it kind of forced you to kind of actually go through the level and sort of imprint it in your head as like where certain people are going to be in the timing, and like, you know, kind of like doing that sort of like speed run type of I don't know, thing, I guess. Yeah. Like where you're trying to, like, you know, you're trying to figure out the best possible route to get in, get out with like no alerts, no kills, only target, and with your suit only, right? So I mean that was kind of my approach to it. I never ever went like took the gun out and just started going crazy on people, because that seemed way too easy. And I feel like that whole, like, I mean, level was kind of like designed to like more of like a stealth or that sort of like stealth accidental approach, right?
Yeah,
because that's where more of the thought process is like there. Like there's a lot more you could do with it. It feels a lot more rewarding when you're like, and when you figure it on your own too, and you're like, oh shit, I actually did the hit.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
I think a lot of the game's various systems actually really kind of encourage you not to go balls to the wall and pull your guns out and go crazy.
But I mean, you can if you want. Like if you really want to, you can.
Yeah, it definitely supports it.
Like the option is there, but it's just like, you know, like it's a stealth game, right? Like you can do whatever you want, but ultimately, like, you know, but it's not like they shove it in your face, like, oh, like you should probably go stealth. Nah, if you want to, you can't. But I mean, the level kind of like catered towards that, right?
So did you play on the hardest difficulty your first time through, or did you start with normal?
I started with normal with the difficulty up in that. But then I tried doing like whatever the hardest, I can't remember what the fuck it was called. I think it was called like Silent Assassin. I don't know. But that one was fucking tough. Like, yeah, you really had like a limited shit. Because I don't think you could like start with like a certain amount of things, and like you only had like your fiber wire and like something, and yeah, your map was like no bueno. There was something else about the suit too. I think like I can't remember. Honestly, I think you couldn't. You couldn't. I think you couldn't use disguises or something like that too.
Oh, really?
I think so. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. I mean, I could just be blowing shit out of my ass right now. But can't remember.
I know on higher difficulty levels you're fined for leaving evidence more strictly, and that affects your notoriety a lot more.
Yeah.
I know about the difficulties if you want.
Yeah, go ahead. Probably do a way better job.
Like, Tom was kind of talking about the Silent Assassin, which is not... it's not one of the difficulties. It's the hardest. Like, there's ratings that you get.
Well, yeah, that's the rating. I don't know if that
Silent
was...
Assassins is a rating.
Yeah, I wasn't really talking about the ratings. Like, I know in, like, Absolution they called the difficulty...
Expert is the hardest.
Yeah, that's what it was, yeah.
And
I know in Absolution they called them... Even though there were still the ratings, but they called fucking, like, the difficulties, like, Silent Assassin and, like, Pure, or, like, Purity, or I don't know. Fuck,
yeah, but, like, the difficulties in Blood Money, you get... like you have the notoriety, like you said, where you if you get evidence found against you or people see you and all that stuff, if you're just like a lousy gunman, I guess, if you're just going in guns blazing, they kind of, your notoriety goes up and they find out kind of what you look like. So as you get further into the game, if your notoriety is high enough, people will start recognizing you right off the bat. And you can get busted that way, like right away. Well, not busted, but you get killed because like the guards will notice who you are. And as you go up, like the AI gets smarter, and you actually get less. Like you have in-game saves too, which was really confusing for me at the time because
I like in-game saves.
They were nice, but like, so you could like take a risk in that game and then kind of go back if it backfired on you. But
that was the best.
It was just funny because the first time I read it, I interpreted it just says you only have like a certain amount of saves. So I thought that like the hardest difficulty, it says no saves are allowed.
Oh yeah.
So I thought that you literally had to beat the game without saving in between levels. I thought that was what expert mode was.
Oh.
I was so confused. I was just like,
I think you could save, right?
Yeah, you can save in between levels, but like there's in-game saves, like in-mission saves, that you could do, and that's what it meant. You could only, and with each increasing difficulty level, you got less.
That's fucking hilarious.
That save system is like the way they work the save system into being like an actual mechanic in the game. Like I often found myself rationing saves as
I know. Well, it was kind of like
better.
Almost like Resident Evil.
Yes, yeah. Which is our next game. Interesting. But but I could definitely, there were some missions I feel like I would have had a lot harder time with if I was even reduced to 3 saves, like on the next highest difficulty.
I forgot that was a mechanic. Yeah.
7
They
saves,
should do that more often with games. Yeah.
It's really interesting. Like
it is.
It adds a lot to the game.
Imagine that with like something like Fallout.
Oh my god.
Oh god. I don't want to think about that.
It's this playthrough you're limited to 200 saves.
And they could not release games as buggy as they were because you just get fucked over. You know? So Ryan, what was your general approach your first couple times through, if you can recall? And if you can't, what was your favorite approach? Like how?
Yeah, no, I recall. My first.
Do you recall? I'm glad.
Oh, I recall. The first time that I played it was just, I don't know. Like I took more of a stealthy approach, but like I'd always like redo a mission a couple times before completing it because I do almost. I don't know. Maybe I should. Do you want to talk about intel at this time?
Sure. Yeah, go.
Because I was gonna say I always bought the intel for the missions. I think there was always 7 pieces of intel that you could buy, and each piece of intel was complete, like common sense, except for maybe the 7th one. That was like,
oh yeah,
something. That was so stupid that you had to pay like $7,000 a piece for these things.
Mm-hmm.
And anyways, so like I would buy those first because then it would kind of give me things to look out for while I was playing. But I'd always kind of redo the first half of a mission maybe a few times before I actually went through and completed it, because my first time playing each mission was kind of like a scouting run where I'd go around, I'd kind of assess all the different environments, see how I could get through. And I never tried purposefully, like on my first attempt, to get the Silent Assassin rating, but I always tried to get, like, do it in the most stealthy approach where, like, I'd only... Actually, well, what am I saying? I don't want to say I didn't kill needlessly. Like, I did kill a lot of people. Like, if guards were walking around too frequently and I'd have to, like, wait too long to hide bodies with them walking around, yeah, I'd kill them and then I'd just hide their body. Like, it's not like I was only there to kill the target. But, no, I never went in, like, on my first time playing through, just balls to the wall, guns blazing, like. But I did that on my 6th, 7th, 28th playthrough of the game, definitely. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's like someone, like, I don't know, I had different approaches all the time, but, like, I'm interested kind of, like, to see that you've heard Tom and I talk about this game so much, but this is, like, your first time actually playing it, what your approaches would be, like, from your perspective, Tyler.
Yeah, so initially, my first few missions, I would start out, I'd find a single AI character that seemed important, like somebody that might be talking or something, and I would just tail them. Like, I'd follow their AI routine and try and get a sense of what the loop was, which sounds really mechanical, but it was actually really fun and interesting, and kind of just like, all right, what's this character's, like, kind of deal? What does he do? Where does he go? He goes in here and I can't get in there, so maybe when I find him going to a secluded place, I'll be able to go into there, and kind of that. And I'd explore the level in that sort of way. I did that a lot for the first few missions. And generally I found myself trying to orchestrate the kind of more puzzly kills. So, like, the kind of drop a thing on a guy, or the accidents, I guess they're called, in the results screen. I would try and go for that sort of thing. I tried the intel on some of the first few missions, but got really frustrated with how simple the first couple of few were, and just thought it was a waste of money, and wasn't sure how important money would be. Spoilers on normal, money never really seems that hard to come by, at least in my experience. But as the game kind of went on,
money, like, hard to come by. You only got like $500,000 every contract.
Yeah, but I never really had much to spend it on.
Yeah,
we can talk. Oh, sorry.
It's like literally they give you like $500,000 or $250,000 a contract, and it's just like, oh, what's $7,000 to buy one piece?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but I didn't know that going through my initial time, so I just kind of avoided buying intel, worrying that, like, well, it didn't seem that useful, and then I was also afraid of spending money. So I wouldn't buy intel. But as the game kind of progressed, I found myself kind of doing the kind of scouting runs you were talking about, where I would just no saves, just kind of be like, okay, I'm going to go explore this area right now. Even if I get caught, I'll at least get a sense of what's over here. And after a few runs, I would orchestrate a little plan and kind of at each checkpoint, like mental checkpoint, like, okay, this was a really difficult part, or this was a really tedious part where I was waiting for a while, I would make a save, and I'd, like, slowly, step by step, orchestrate my plan. And then sometimes, when we talk about specific missions later on, my scouting runs would turn into successful runs, which was always really fun and kind of messy. I would only ever restart missions if I made a big mess of things. Like, if I messed up and got caught and had to kill a few people to get out of it, I'd roll with it. If I felt like I had a good chance. But if things got real messy and there was just a ludicrous amount of people in a single room, or I felt like the game was going to be less interesting, and I'd have to like kind of brute force my way out of the mission. Then I'd restart or load a save point. That was my general approach, I guess.
Yeah, that's similar. I was gonna say, actually, you reminded me that the accident kills. That was something that, like, once I started getting, like, you kind of get like an eye for it, I guess, as you continue going. Like, oh, there's a food thing I can poison here, make it look like food poisoning, or there's a like a chandelier here, or a piano I can blow up. That's conveniently hanging above where my target is. You kind of like start looking out for those things, like when you're first playing, like the first few missions, it's not something you realize, and then as you kind of go on, you start looking, like you were saying, you kind of follow people's like walking patterns, and you see where they're going, and you see like different opportunities to kill them in an accident way, because that's the accident way is how you get the silent assassin ratings. If you don't, like, if you make it seem that it's almost impossible that someone did this. So it's interesting that you picked up on that really quickly in your playing.
Yes, I am impressed.
Oh, thank you. I'm so honored.
The Hitman Commission has
fucking egotistical fucking douchebag.
I generally found the accents were the most fun way to play too. Like, I just like trying to time all that stuff was really satisfying, really cool.
Yeah. Then again, like, and you're sort of like kind of like peering like into the mind of the developer, like or like kind of like through their eyes, how they look. I don't know. It's kind of.
Interestingly, I found myself starting a lot of missions just by finding a place to dump my silver baller. I don't know if you guys had that experience too, but I'd only ever bring my silver baller into missions. Oh, my cat's going to come talk on the mic too now. I'd only ever bring the silver baller in, and then typically find some kind of area where I couldn't bring it, and then scramble to find somewhere to leave it.
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a common thing. I know there's always a way to get it inside wherever you need to go, but
yeah, there always is. But I mean, it depends on how hard. I don't know. It depends on the player, right? How hard you really want to go that route.
Well, the silver baller is like, it's convenient, like especially when you have the silencer. If you need to kill like a few people really quickly.
I just never understood the point of having a scope on it.
I didn't thought that was just
fuck. Who you snipe? Like,
but to me, like, I wouldn't say that I ever like actively sought out places to like, or ever got that impression that I was like had it on me just until I needed to get rid of it. But like, I did also strongly believe I never ever, unless I was like replaying a mission with like the intent of doing something specific, like, oh, this time I'm going to try using a sniper, or this time I'm just going to bring my M4 that I equipped with twin drum mags, a red dot sight and scope, and I'm just going to literally like not ever have my finger off the trigger the entire mission, like unless I had that plan. You can complete every single mission with just the fiber wire.
It speaks to the kind of quality of the openness and like how accepting it is of other play styles, that you can kind of go in with nothing and still make do and still have a wide range of like experiences with the game. Like, just because you're not bringing anything doesn't mean you have to play a specific way.
Well, if you're not bringing anything, like, I mean, this game fully, like you're saying, it fully acknowledges different playing styles or different approaches to the mission. Mm-hmm. But like, if you don't bring anything, like, I think you're obliged to bring one thing. I think your fiber wire and like the syringes and all that stuff.
Yes, yeah.
But like, literally, just say you don't bring a gun, you literally sedate or kill a guard with your fiber wire, and then you have a pistol.
Yeah,
like it's. Yeah. You have many ways of doing things.
You can typically find the tools you need once you're in there.
Yeah, exactly. And like you were saying that, or at least the missions are kind of geared in a way that as you get closer and closer to completing your target, the tools are more readily available to you.
So I guess we can jump ahead and talk about that upgrade system and since we're kind of talking about it right now. I recall in a conversation earlier, Tom, that you were enjoying the modern episodic Hitman game, but you kind of were missing the upgrade and customization features from Blood Money. So I'm interested to hear, having now played Blood Money, what you found so compelling about that customization and kind of the unlockable progression in this game.
Wait, compared to like Absolution?
No, compared to episodes like the Hitman game that came out this year.
I thought I forgot about that one. Holy fuck! I forgot. I only played the first level, so I mean, the game is great. I mean, like as far as like level design wise, it's way better than like Blood Money. Like I really enjoyed it. Like,
really, that speaks highly. I think.
I think
Blood
so.
Money's levels are fantastic.
Oh, they're without a doubt, because like.
Are we talking about the upgrade system, or are we talking about?
No, I'm just talking about the
That's
levels.
a good point.
No, the upgrade. Okay, well, the upgrade system is fucking pure doo doo. Like it's like I might. Holy fuck! Like it's terrible.
Is this in Blood Money or is it in the episodes?
No, this is an episode.
Okay.
But the level design in episodes is pretty top notch, and the detail and like everything. Like it's pretty. Like I mean, I'm impressed. Man, when I played episode, like the first level in episodes was the fucking like the museum or the whole kind of like fashion show in Paris, right? And
I played all of them, but there's the first one you're like in training, which consists of like 3 different missions.
Sorry. Yeah, it's like a yacht kind of.
Yeah, there's like a yacht, and then you have to do like some Soviet
Oh yeah, the Soviet. Yeah. No, fuck those ones. Like the real, like first one is. Yeah, I mean those are cool, whatever. Like the Soviet one's pretty cool too. But I mean the fucking fashion show was pretty fucking dope, because like you had the whole like ground floor, which was all fucking done nicely, like art wise, and then you go upstairs and it's kind of like this whole VIP area, and like I kind of spent most of my time just kind of like checking out like how they like textured everything, because it was kind of like that a more like luxurious type of like ballroom type of like feel to it, right? You know what I mean? Like there's like a lot more like curtains like were laced and all this shit, and, like it was all velvet, like it was crazy. It looked fucking dope. Like it looked like a real life kind of. Yeah, it was pretty cool. Like like you walked into the room, like the light was gazing through these like big doors, like I don't know, it was all well done. And I mean they executed it well. There was so many ways to kill and go about it. Yeah, it was just really well done. And like I even looked up on YouTube how to do some things, and there were some things I didn't even know were even there after I played it like 30 times. And there was even ways I didn't even realize you could get in through the level, because there were so many ways to get in. Like the level design is fucking nuts on that one. Like it's really well done. But as far as upgrades and all that shit, yeah, it was fucking brutal, man. I couldn't believe it. It's fucking 2016, and they still can't fucking get someone to model a gun with attachments on it. Like it's fucking. Like you get a gun, and like you play Blood Money, you can either purchase attachments and put them on, and like no matter what, like like you choose what clips or what type of clips, or like what scope or laser sight, or if it was full auto or just semi. You could choose all that shit, right? In this one, no, you just chose like if you had a silver baller or like a different type of pistol.
And all the weapons are unlocked. Like you don't even get like certain weapons. You have to unlock like the sniper and all that stuff. You don't even get to customize.
Yeah, you don't, and it's not like it's a global unlock. It's like it's an unlock per level. So depending on like how well or how many times like or points you score. Like the thing is like they encourage you to play it more than once a level, right? So you can like go about it different ways, and all your points at the end of each run kind of like add up, and you're kind of like level yourself up per level. So it's like level like 0 to 30. Like pretty much like once you hit 30, you'll unlock everything that you could for that level, which is like, any gun, like any of the guns they give you that you can use or whatever. So it's kind of stupid. It's not like a global type of unlock where you can use, like, let's say I unlocked the silver baller and I attached it with like a silencer and all this. Now I could use it in any level I want to, right? My gun, right? Well, guess what? Fucking wrong. You got to go through the level, play it like 25 fucking times, and then you finally unlock the silver baller, and you're like, well, I wish I had the one I fucking could have used that I unlocked from the previous level, but no, I had to play it like 25 times again to unlock it.
So the reason I asked initially was because I actually found the upgrade system not like bad or anything in Blood Money. I just kind of didn't really engage with it in a meaningful way.
Well, the thing is, you'll realize how good it is when you play other Hitman games, how shit all the other upgrades are in them, because there is no upgrade system. They just give you a weapon.
That's possible. Yeah, that's certainly possible. I also think it might be possible that the upgrade system is more interesting on subsequent playthroughs, because I really only ever bought upgrades for the silver baller and my equipment, and I always picked the stuff that was quieter for the silver baller.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
And the equipment, there's no decision to be made. So I didn't find the upgrade system particularly.
No, it's not
engaging.
Super in depth or anything. But the thing is, like, I mean, it's there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
okay.
You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like a standard kind of thing. I mean, neither is the upgrade system in fucking Call of Duty, like, fantastic when it came out. But I mean, like, it's just there, like, because kind of like gives like a feel of personalization. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
I feel
that's
like
kind of what I was sensing when you're talking. Sorry.
So, like, it just kind of makes it more personal to you. So, like, the fact they don't have it in 2016 is fucking beyond me. I have no idea. I mean, literally every game fucking does that shit now. Like, I mean, fucking Ghost Recon did way more with their gunsmith, like, whatever the Future Soldier was, or whatever. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. It was pretty shit in episodes. But I liked the game. The like, just like the whole level design and art and everything kind of kept me intrigued enough to keep playing it. So I didn't mind.
Ryan, are you particularly passionate about the upgrade system in Blood Money one way or the other?
I wasn't like, it didn't make or break the game in any way, in my opinion. But like,
oh, it fucking broke it.
No, we're talking about Blood Money.
I know.
I liked that it gave you the option, like you were saying. I always just bought, like, I don't know, the things that would give weapons extra damage, and then like the silencers and all that stuff. And then like you were saying, on subsequent playthroughs, I'd toss on like extended magazines, full auto, and all that stuff. Just for the hell of it, I'd toss a scope on it. And then, but like, to me, it just added like more of a fun aspect to it, like personalization. So you could put the silencer on it if you wanted to. I really like that they gave you the option to have akimbo pistols, I think. Yeah, right.
Yeah, you can have 2 silver bullets at one point.
Yeah, I thought that was neat, because that seemed like it was an actual upgrade too. Like it would be useful. Like, I don't know, as missions got harder and more enemies were around, and there would be certain situations where you'd find yourself having to clear rooms, like, occasionally. Or like it was just, you didn't have to, but it was easier that way.
Yeah. It's kind of a double-edged sword, that upgrade, because I don't have any science to back this up, but my impression, my least favorite part about the silver baller is how fucking slow the reload animation is.
How the fucking fucking drop the clip, load it in, drop the second one.
Double is even worse.
Oh,
man. The double is even worse.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the bad side of that silver baller is, sure, you can spend a little bit longer before you have to reload, but when you have to reload, you're fucked. Like, you better hope everybody around you is dead, because you're dead. You're fucked. Which I think that makes a good segue to a conversation about the controls of this game. So I guess I could have talked about this in the history a bit too. In general, I think the controls, the way this game controls, is bad, but for what the game is, I think that's okay. And I'm going to do my best to explain that.
Yes, please.
So, everything in this game, all of the actions that Mr. 47 can take are incredibly slow, and they're incredibly belabored. You're often locked into them, and you can't even control your camera while it's happening, which in any other game, I think would be a death knell. I'd be so fucking out of there that I'd burn the disc. But in Hitman Blood Money, I think it's an incredible way to kind of tell the player what the game expects from you. The act of reloading your gun being so exasperated is the game's way of saying that combat is not a solution to all your problems, right? Putting a body into one of those weird bins that are all over the levels, it's an incredibly elaborate procedure, but that's because they want you to be very deliberate when you're doing something like that. They want you to plan to do something like that. They don't want you to just do it by the cuff, as like a reaction. It's telling the player every action you take needs to be considered in a way that you can't just kind of go by the fly, and it makes you kind of appreciate the game more because you have to really consider your options, and when you're considering your options and kind of playing in this deliberate manner, I think Hitman's at its best. There's some things that are a little bit less forgivable, I think, like when you shoot, because of it's like an old school third-person shooter where it's just like a cursor and you're like always fixed in the center of the screen. So sometimes you'll be shooting stuff that Agent 47 is kind of occluding, which is not necessarily fun, but that's kind of a thing of the times, I think. Like we had, like at the time, like third-person shooters were kind of being revolutionized, and Blood Money was kind of in that nebulous in-between time. But once again, like shooting isn't really the focus of the game, so it's okay. And they kind of alleviate that with having that first-person mode that you can jump into. So everything in this game is context sensitive, and I think that has a lot to do with IO's kind of roots as a PC developer. It also helps with the kind of game systems that they're going for, where you have this huge possibility space, right? Like you can't like limit inputs to very particular actions because it would really reduce the amount of things you could do in this game, and like it would reduce that possibility space that we keep talking about is like the thing with this game, right? But the problem with context sensitivity, like context sensitive prompts, is that they're pretty inconsistent, right? Like you always kind of want to have an eye on that little UI in the top left corner, just to be sure that what you're doing is what you want to be doing. So you can never really enter that flow state where you're always acting immediately upon instinct, like you're just like moving through and uninterrupted. You always kind of have to have that moment where you look up, and once again, like this is kind of that's just a problem with context sensitive stuff, right? Like there are ways to alleviate it. Like a lot of modern games put the context UI in the game world, like on the object, so you have like kind of a visual indicator when you do something. One example is like opening a door, right? Like if you're just quickly running up to a door, instinctively you press E, right?
Yeah.
But it can be real easy to press E, not know it's a locked door because you didn't check the context-sensitive prompt, and start picking that lock, blowing your cover, and ruining everything. So you have to take that second, check, and then proceed,
It's kind of good, though.
Yeah,
right?
And once again, that kind of goes towards the kind of game it is, right?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Because, I mean, in real life, it's not like you're just going to go up to the door and start fucking, like, running up and fucking jamming at the handle. Like,
true.
You're going to, like, take your time, like, realize if it's blocked.
And then my last like kind of gripe with the controls of this game are your inventory items are kind of inconsistent in nature. You get a sense of it as you play. Like you kind of learn how each individual inventory item acts, but there's no consistent language between all the different ones. And an example of this is like, so you have your gun, right? You equip your gun. It's on you. You use the fire button to fire it. Pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Coin, you use the dropped context-sensitive button to aim and fire.
Oh, yeah, they all have sort of like, I remember like, I think you have to like hold it in like the right stick or something like that to like aim if you want to throw it. You let go to like throw it.
Yeah, so, and then...
Something
and then it
gets, like that.
And then back to, so I'm thinking, okay, weapons use the fire button, right? That's how you interact with those. Maybe items use a different thing, but then the syringe,
it's
which
like
is
a
kind
button?
of, it's both. Well, that one's use the fire button as well. You like aim it and fire it, and that's because it ends up being a weapon, right? Like you can use it as a weapon.
Mm-hmm.
But then story-related syringes can only be used by pressing the interaction button. So I think it would be the cross button on the PlayStation controller.
Right.
When you get to a particular space, right? And then you have a lot of items like that only trigger in particular spots. And then you have healing items, which use immediately upon equipping them. And it's just that kind of design inconsistency that's just kind of like, it's not the end of the world, like you get used to it, but it's a weird kind of UI, kind of user design kind of thing. I don't know. That's my control spiel.
Yeah, I mean the game's not perfect, but I mean I don't know. For the time, I mean, you know what I mean? Like when the game come out, like fucking 06 or some shit. Yeah. So I mean, like I don't know. Like most games around then still had fucking glitches. I mean, they're not like games today. They're pretty refined.
Yeah, I don't think any of them are.
And then again, like who made it? Was it Eidos or?
It was IO Interactive and published by Eidos.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Yeah. I mean, you know, I don't know if they're like, are they Japanese or some shit?
They're Danish.
From
Denmark.
So I mean, you know, obviously they're like, I don't know, like their design or designer or whoever. I mean, maybe you never know why shit sometimes like comes out the way it does. Games. There could be like a million different reasons as far as like producers, like designers, like how they think it should go.
Like I think these are all tough challenges. Like I don't think any of these are necessarily 100% wrong or bad moves. Even the like what would normally be the greatest sin, like those slow animations you can't break out of, I think have a spot in this game. Like they work given the context of this game. And the context sensitive stuff, that's a design challenge with this kind of game. Like normal button prompts just wouldn't work.
Yeah.
Like normal, like the triangle button does X and it just does X, so you can reliably hit triangle when you want to do X. Wouldn't work in this context. Like it's a design. It's a design issue that I think will always have a drawback. It'll never have a solution, right? I don't know. That's my control spiel. I don't know, Ryan. You seemed bothered by me saying that initially, so I don't know if you want to pipe in on the controls at all.
I won't say bothered at all. I just I was going to agree with you that like the context stuff does have some issues with it, but like you were saying, that comes with that sort of style of it. Getting used to like the coin throwing as opposed to like shooting a gun or using a syringe or anything like that was really, really annoying learning it. But I think when you were talking about the the mechanics where, like the unbreakable motions, like you're dumping a body or you're picking a lock, or which you can break out of actually.
Yes, you can break out of that one. Yeah, you're right.
And like changing a disguise, you can break out of at a certain point. But like, I think that all of those motions And like even like I don't know, like you're fiber wiring someone or you're syringing someone, like those motions take like a few seconds, right? I think that's implemented as Unbreakable to show you like that all your choices have a price, right? Because you have your maps saying that security's coming around or someone's about to walk in. It's probably not a good idea to enter an Unbreakable motion, right? Or you have like your reloading thing, you know that there's 10 guards in this room, your gun only has 6 shots in it, or 7 shots. Maybe it's not a good idea to shoot your way through because the reloading is going to be when you get killed. But I think that's just a choice that it just helps you make decisions in the game. Like, there's been so many times in it where I was like, I don't know, dragging a body to go like hide it. And then because that takes such a long time and you're dumping it, I get caught in the time that I was dumping it because I didn't check my map when I should have. And had I checked my map, I would have known that maybe if I hit it somewhere else temporarily before that other person passed, I could then have the time to actually enter the motion for it, dump it, and go on my way.
Yeah, exactly. That's sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, it's a little bit of a trade-off, right? Because you have Unbreakable motions where you're to help me make decisions, like you jump in a body, it takes like 5 seconds or so, whatever. But then he can also change disguises in like 2 minutes. He like literally like touches the bag and then assimilates that.
Yeah, exactly. I think you hit the nail on the head there by saying like everything has a cost. Like every action has a consequence. Like when you're about to dump a body, you have to really consider it, right? Like, and I wouldn't change that for the world. Like, even though I think it's traditionally like a negative in most games, I think in this game, that kind of animation locking leads to some of the most exhilarating moments. Like, one moment that I wouldn't ever want to change because it was one of my favorite moments of the game was, it was in the boat mission. I'm dumping somebody over the railing. You're locked into that scene. I'm going, oh my God, is somebody going to see me? Is somebody going to see me? I lock out, I turn around, and somebody just turns the corner right at that moment. And like the just moment of relief when they don't do anything was like some of the
and it was totally unplanned, and you're like, holy fuck.
Yeah, no, it was great.
The amount of times where like, yeah, your heart is kind of racing because like.
But see, how many games nowadays do that? Like
mid-dumping a body, and like, yeah, you see like, someone like, sprinting or something because they heard a noise.
Yeah, and then you fucking just whip out that silver baller, and you're all like, nah, poof. And the best thing is the physics, man. When they go over railings, they fucking go. Like, it's fucking beautiful. I love it, man. Yo, when you upgrade that silver baller, bro, and you peg somebody right in the face, they go fucking flying. Like they get laid out. It's like, I love that feeling when you hit them. It's like, thunk, 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 that fucking sound, and it like bullet hits their body, and then like they literally like fall down, like their limbs go fucking like straight, and they hit the floor like 100 miles an hour.
Ragdolling is so funny, man.
It's
like
fucking beautiful.
When you shoot them and they start ragdolling, or when you're like dragging the body and then it starts like contorting itself and like instantly like loses all its composure.
The best part is like I shot some dude with like the fucking shotgun, like from like one room into the other, and like I shot him in the one room and his body went flying right into like the ballroom of the ship. You know, like that one area like where it's like all like huge crowd of people.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like that, like one little dining room area. I literally shot like the fucking like guard, like boom, like the dude went flying, literally, like went flying across the dinner tables, and like everyone just started running. Man, that shit was fucking beautiful.
Yeah, you have a lot of moments like that in the game. Like I'll never forget.
It's great.
The first time I used the silver baller in the second mission there, the vineyard one. I shot a guy and he shot against the wall behind him, rode up the wall, along the roof, in behind me, down to the floor below, and I was like, "This game's all right."
I know, man.
Yeah. So, next up, I want to talk about the level design of this game because playing through it initially, I thought it was really great, and I thought it was remarkable how elaborate it was. Like, I'd be exploring a level, and I'd be like, okay, this has to be it. This has to be I've seen all of the level, right? But then you'd open another door, and it would open up, and it would be even bigger. And it would just keep opening and opening.
I mean, episodes, man. It's like, it just never ends.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. I've heard they're just like giant vistas, basically.
Pretty much, yeah.
And I was wondering but the level design in this game felt different, right? Like, it doesn't feel like traditional kind of, like, you think of like the Doom this year was got a lot of accolades for having elaborate, complex level designs, but the levels in Doom are like these elaborate mazes. It's like feels like labyrinthine, right? The level design in Hitman doesn't really feel like a labyrinth. And the other day I was driving home and it finally like clicked with me. I think the Blood Money's levels are built around the AI characters that inhabit it, which gives it a very like naturalistic feel because the spaces are built to meet the actions that take place in them, which is how buildings are built, right? Like a kitchen is going to be near the dining area because the waiter needs to walk from the kitchen to the dining area quickly, and there needs to be a path there, which sounds like a really simple, stupid thing. But that's not something that happens in video games, right? Video games are either these mazes to get lost in or this world that's all built to funnel you in a particular direction. Like, everything is based on your line of sight. Like, it's weird to be in a space that exists for something other than you, and I think that's a really crazy achievement for this game. Like,
No, I agree. A lot of games, like, I mean, level design is something that is kind of like overlooked, I feel like. Yeah, when it comes to like some game, well, particularly most games nowadays. I mean, the only games you're ever going to see that are based off like very good level design, which tend to be some like the best games, are like mostly like just single player games. Like, there's not a lot of multiplayer games that you see have clever level design. It's kind of hard to implement because you can't really like script it. But I mean, still, you know what I mean? Like,
it's a different kind of level design in multiplayer.
It is, but I feel like they can get definitely creative with it. I mean, like Gears of War kind of did, like, or Gears of War 2 kind of did way back, like with like levels that kind of like forced certain situations. Like, there's this one level that I don't think it got enough credit, to be honest, and it was fucking awesome. So there's like I mean, all the maps. I mean, Gears of War isn't really kind of like the game to like brag about his level design because they're all fucking symmetrical like pieces of art. But there's this one level called Flood, and after like a certain amount, like 2 minutes or 3 minutes of like gameplay, and let's say like, I don't know, it was like 2-on-2 or 1-on-1, and like you guys were just kind of running in a circle, like literally a flood would kind of come out from the outsides, and it would, if you went into it, I mean, like it was kind of like lava or whatever, like that Gears of War kind of like shit. So it would kind of like, you know, it was kind of like an excuse that if you went in there, it would hurt you and it would eventually kill you, and then you'd lose because of it. So it kind of, and it came from all around like a circle. So it forced everybody to the middle of the map. And like, so no matter what, like they're like, you know, you had to like go against each other, or that was it. It was kind of like do or die. So, I mean, like, it's kind of like shit like that. Like, I mean, it's not up to the player, but like the game kind of like or the level sort of like forces you to have an outcome.
Yeah, multiplayer maps are definitely built towards creating like interesting player engagement points, right?
Yeah, but there's nothing like that a lot. Like most of the like levels nowadays are pretty static. Like, but I don't know.
Yeah, no, and so jumping back to Hitman, so the levels feel more naturalistic, like more like real world places. Yet sometimes they still do stretch the kind of realms of believability, but that's okay because it's all as a function of level design. Like, I think a lot of those buildings have more bathrooms than any place ever really needs, but that's because they need a lot of small side rooms for you to toss stuff into, right? Like, it's all a function of the gameplay, and it works really well.
Like an oddly large number of freezer cabinets and dumpster boxes.
That's for sure. A couple more things I want to gush about. I love the costume mechanic, like the kind of dress up, wearing outfits thing. I think it's a really brilliant way of getting around a problem that a lot of stealth games have. Well, not necessarily a problem, but like a reality of stealth games. When you're playing a stealth game, it can feel very hostile. You know, like every action you take can get you in trouble. You know, like even just like moving a couple inches over could get you spotted. And in stealth games, knowing your environment's very important. But when you can't explore that environment, it's very hard to learn it. And that's kind of the crux of stealth games, right? Like that's what makes Splinter Cell, Metal Gear, kind of Thief work, right? But it can be very hard to get a sense of that stuff, you know. And a lot of modern stealth games try and get around that. Like you have Dishonored, which lets you have a blink mechanic, which lets you quickly dart around the level and get to a higher vantage point and kind of get a sense of the larger area. And then you have the Arkham games where you have the gargoyles that you can zip up to, and it's a relatively safe space to watch things. What Hitman does is it gives you a way to kind of scope out areas by just always making sure that you have the right costume for the area you're in. So you can just walk around a space relatively safe, still with the tension of getting caught, because any wrong move could cost you, but you have that kind of barrier. Also, it's just a real fun thing to puzzle out. Like, what do I need here? What do I need there? What costume should I wear when? You know, like half this game is just like coordinating your fashion to progress properly. You know?
Yeah, exactly. It was just kind of you have to coordinate and plan it out. But that's the crazy part about trying to do it like Silent Assassin without disguise. It's even harder because then you're trying to figure out then it gets to the point where you don't have to care about being safe for certain areas. It's just as long as you can make sure you don't let anybody see you, you know, in like those like zones, right?
Yeah, it's great
to find that path all the way through. Yeah, so I don't know. That's what I like about how the game is. Like, you know, you can choose how you want to play. It's pretty fun. Anyway, sorry, I always interrupt.
No, that was good. And then another interesting thing that I didn't expect to see so much in this game was the kind of picture-in-picture thing they do constantly. The picture, I don't know how to describe it. Like I called it picture-in-picture, but like it's kind of split screen thing they do every now and then. So they'll divide a third of the screen.
Like when something's happening. Yeah,
exactly.
Like if you poison
that thing, like if something important is going on, like let's like that sheik or whatever, and like you arrive. Yeah,
so I think that's another good way to get around that kind of lack of spatial sense you have in stealth games, especially in a game like Hitman where sequence of events is so important. It's a real quick and dirty way to kind of have a sense of the greater environment and what's happening in it. They also use it sometimes to show you like when you've been spotted by a camera, which I like less so because if you get spotted by a camera a whole bunch, you're just having your screen taken away from you a whole lot. It does look cool for what it's worth.
Yeah.
And then the last kind of general thing is this is a game where you spend a lot of time waiting, which is cool. Like I think it's cool that there's a game that lets you be patient like that. There were times when I definitely found myself wishing I had some kind of fast forward mechanic. Like, you know how in Metal Gear 5 you have the Phantom cigar?
Yep.
And that's used mostly to like just set the time of day to the right point for like approaching a scenario. It's not really used for letting things cycle. But I would love something like that just kind of cycles animations. But I feel like it would also maybe make some things too easy. I don't know.
Yeah, it could. mean, who knows? Like maybe like I feel like if that was the case, then maybe like you would like some things might not have occurred. Let's say if you how do I explain it? Like if you didn't have that wait period, then like some things might have not occurred as if unless you did wait. Like so, for instance, like let's say like the path you took to get to where you were to where you have to wait. Like an NPC could have discovered a body or something, or like depending on their whole, you know what I mean? Like a whole different sort of like series of events could have occurred during that wait time. That kind of adds to the game where unless if you had like a whole thing to pass by, it would kind of like ruin the whole experience. Because who knows? Because that's the whole point, right? If is to like being able to wait and like being that kind of like stalkerish like like predator where you're kind of like you're the one in control and you're waiting. And I mean if you hit a body and let's say an NPC walked by and they like discovered it around the corner, or if you like had a wait function and you waited out. I mean I don't know, maybe they could have still discovered the body, I guess, if you wanted to, but I feel like if you had a wait function, like you would pass by the time and like all of a sudden you're there.
Say is the I don't know, just say because like the targets particularly and most of the NPC AIs in this game, they all have a cycle, right? And they all go through that same cycle. Like maybe they're patrolling like a certain area or whatever. But I think, and that some of those cycles can be pretty long, right? Mm-hmm. Like especially the targets. So just say that you, I don't know, someone. Can we talk about some of the missions? Like, can I use?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Yeah.
That I think it's like the third mission, I guess. The one where you're in the opera house. Just say you like, I don't know, you planted a bomb on the chandelier or something like that, and you need to wait for the target to walk under the area where the chandelier will fall. Sometimes their cycles can be so long to walk around that you're just waiting for them to pass under it.
Oh, I know, but that's part of the game.
You like, yeah, but like, just say they had just walked under it. It sometimes
it makes it that much sweeter.
It would be nice sometimes to have like a little fast forward button to make it so that you're not waiting for so long just to hit the button when they finally walk under it again and go, and then it happens.
I know, but I mean, I don't know. Your ass should have been fucking aware. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a hard thing to do.
Or you make a save or something. I mean, like, no. I mean, there are kind of workarounds, but I mean, that's the whole point of the game, right?
Yeah, it definitely was. That thought was definitely motivated by a moment like what you described, Ryan, where I think it was the kind of the rehab clinic kind of thing where you have to wait for the guy to lift weights or whatever.
Oh yeah, and then you choke him out with the thing.
Yeah, so I would sit there with my guy shoved in the corner so that he was never standing near anybody.
Funny, because I think the exact same thing.
Yeah, and then I wait for him to come to his weights, and then I run over and find out that the context-sensitive button only happens for one side of the weight set, so he gets up, and I miss my opportunity, and now I run into the corner again, and I'm sitting there waiting again. But you do bring up a good point. Like, the tension would kind of be gone if I could just always just with a button click perfectly sync up the sequencing. But I don't know. There's something there.
The tension will be lost on like the first time. But like, I don't know, just say you're doing like another playthrough or something like that. And you've done it so many times and you're just like, come on, go back to the bench press, go back, come on. Like, I want to get this over with. I think it would be nice if they had that feature just in case.
Yeah, like in those moments I found myself reaching for my phone, and just my gut says you never want the player ever reaching for their phone like that. But also at the same time, I like games where they have downtime. I don't know. It's weird.
When I had waiting time like that, I'd use it to like, I don't know, sometimes it was nice to have the waiting time too, because it would give you time to think, is this really what I want to do? Is this really like the most efficient way to eliminate the target and not get caught. And like it kind of gives you that time to think like, oh yeah, this is a good idea, or no, this is actually a horrible idea. I need to do something else. You could like set up other things, and like you have that downtime to think about whether you chose the right way to approach elimination, and then you also have that time to like, you can also maybe direct that person to your plan. Like there are ways to like get them to skip things in their sequence to go about it. That's what I was going to say.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, you can like kind of screw with them a little bit, and like, I don't know, if you make a scene in a place, I don't know, I'm trying to think. I don't think it works in the rehab clinic, but there's ways that you can like, I don't know, distract guards or like make another event happen. Like such as like you blow up a piano or something, and it crashes, so everyone's going to investigate. The target doesn't go to that area anymore because they're on alert, and they get redirected somewhere else, and then they kind of go about their business. You can use that downtime for that as well.
Yeah, and there definitely were moments during that downtime where I noticed something about someone. Like I'd like see a character wander into an area and be like, "Oh shit, I didn't notice that before."
Yeah, that kind of happens.
There's times where like you were saying, where I don't know, you'd have an opportunity, I guess, if you want to call it, to eliminate one of the targets. They'd just start leaving, so you'd have to wait until the cycle about, and then they'd walk in, and then right before you kill them again, you realize, oh, there was a camera in the room the whole time. Or right as you're going, like, there's another guard that's like walking around, and it's just like, oh, thank God I waited again, because had I just jumped on that opportunity again, I would have been caught.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a puzzle. So one last thing I want to talk about before we talk about particular missions. The soundtrack was composed by one Mr. Jesper Kyd, who you may remember as being the composer behind Assassin's Creed 2 and Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. I know that Tom was particularly a fan of those soundtracks back in the day.
Hell yeah.
So.
Oh, I still am, bro. Actually, fuck. You know what? Since then, I'm going to listen to some shit right now.
Let's jump into some of the missions. I want to ask you guys what your favorite missions were, but before we do that, I want to talk about what I assume...
A New
Life. I think that's a popular one.
Right, man. That one is fucking legit.
All right, so let's talk about A New Life. So I think that is one of your favorites, Tom, and I think I know that it's also one of Ryan's favorites.
The New Life, the one with the Cuban guy.
Vinny Slugger, whatever the fuck his name is.
Yeah, it is.
A New Life is the one where you have the Cuban guy in witness protection. What is it about that level in particular that you enjoy so much, Tom?
It's just he's in a like a closed area, and like it's kind of like a I guess the close quarters one. I don't know. It's the setting and everything. It's kind of like in a suburb. It kind of feels like a regular type of like hit, like somebody like would do in the real world. You know what I mean? I mean, like obviously, like Homeboy wouldn't have fucking security like that. But I mean, like if that was how like a hit was gonna go down, like in real life, it's kind of like that's what it would be like.
Have security like that. He's in witness protection.
Okay, whatever. I mean, whatever the fuck. I mean, I'm pretty sure you wouldn't have that many guards around him. Like,
he has like 32 security guards.
Unless it was like fucking like he's like I don't know. He's fucking Snowden or I don't know what the fuck. Like
I thought that they introduced him as someone that insane like ties to something, and that's why he had like to be eliminated, and probably why he had so many guards.
He's a former Cuban crime lord.
So
that's probably why they have so many guards, is because he was like probably like the top of a cartel or something like that. I don't know.
He probably has a lot of enemies.
He has a lot of guards, and that's the point. And they're all FBI.
So Ryan, you mentioned before the cast that this is also one of your favorites. What about this?
Which one was You Better Watch Out?
You Better Watch Out's the Playboy one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, I think Murder the Crows in A New Life, and then I'd have to go with Requiem at the very end.
A New Life.
Oh, did you do Requiem, Tyler?
Yes.
Okay, thank God.
We'll get to that in a moment for sure.
Yeah. Anyways, go ahead, Ryan.
I like it, yeah, because it seems well. It was straightforward. It was a straightforward mission, and there were so many different ways you could do it. Which I liked. It was a simple one. It's just a guy in a mansion protected by FBI, and that's it. That's the scenario that they give you, and like it's just like, oh, I could literally walk, like going guns blazing in the door. I could go into someone's like treehouse. I could go in, like there's just so many different ways you could do it, and I liked it. Yeah, that it seemed like a.
And the treehouse was so fucking convenient.
It seemed real. Yeah, like it seemed like you were in you were really a hitman. Like you were someone contracted out by the mafia to kill someone that turned to be a rat in something. It just seemed like a very familiar
setting for like a hit.
Yeah, scenario. Like one that everyone's seen in like a movie or something. So it seemed, I guess I liked it because it seemed familiar, like that. And I just enjoyed the gameplay, and like it also contains one of my favorite, most memorable lines of gaming history when the guy goes up. I'm not sure if you ran into this, Tyler. Like when Vinny goes up the stairs and he's just like, "My gun, where is it?" And he's just like, "Oh, here it is." And he pulls out like the world's biggest revolver you've ever seen. And it's just like, how did you possibly not know that was on your person?
No, I didn't experience that line because on this mission, this was one of my messier missions. I did not get into the mansion undetected. I made a little bit of a mess.
Mm-hmm. Did you use any of the bodies, or did you bring any of the bodies to the trash compactor on the garbage?
I didn't. I thought about it, but then the situation never really arose in which I could use.
The situation arose for me once when I played through it, and I literally killed everyone and dragged all of their bodies into the garbage.
That's a very versatile garbage truck.
Yeah, but you know what? I'll give it credit. It had a lot of space.
So my experience playing this mission, I enjoyed this mission. I don't know if it's one of my favorites, but I loved it a lot. So I made a bit of a mess, ended up dressing up as security to get into the mansion. And what I like about this mission is the way that Vinny reacts when things get messy. Like he escapes to like a little like a kind of safe room. Yeah, like kind of that's very hard to get into without making a bigger mess. So I liked how the mission got more interesting as I screwed up. And I had to kind of make a plan for how I was going to get in there. My plan ended up being kind of straightforward, but we'll get to that in a sec. So there is a subplot where you have to retrieve a microfilm from a piece of jewelry. So my initial plan, yeah, it ends up being on his wife. But yeah. I initially searched that entire fucking house. Like I rubbed Agent 47's body against every wall looking for an interact prompt to try to find the fucking jewelry.
That's fucking hilarious.
It wasn't until I was standing outside and then I realized jewelry, wife. Okay, figured that out.
Yeah.
Is there any way to get that jewelry without killing his wife? Is what my question is.
Yeah, passes out, I think, at a certain point.
Yeah, she goes upstairs to take like a nap. She'll put it on the like nightstand, like right beside her, and you have to like for her bedroom and steal it.
Oh, okay, that's good.
And she'll notice that, or I can't remember if she notices or not, but then she doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, I felt really bad about killing her because I could not figure out the way to do it non-lethally. I ended up, so I saw her by the pool, and I saw the pool boy, and I've seen enough movies to know how that works. So I killed the pool boy, took his uniform, and I walked in on her in the sauna, and then she was not cool with that. She was not cool with that at all. And then security rushed me. But as security was rushing me, she's like, "Oh, why don't you come upstairs?" And I was like, "Okay, this seems more like what my plan was." And Emily is giving me a look right now that you guys just do not want to get. So I brought her upstairs, and then she ends up passing out. And I guess I should have just gone for her table, but I switched to a security guard outfit for some reason, came back into the room, and just took her out and took the jewelry.
See, to kill her, sorry, before you go on, I killed her, because she, like, flips burgers on the barbecue or something like that. How this wouldn't affect the secret document in her jewelry, I don't know, but you can put lighter fluid in the barbecue and make it look like an accident, because she goes to flip the burgers and then she just catches fire and then falls in the pool. Yeah, and then all the security just doesn't really care. They leave her body in the pool.
Yeah, I did do that on one playthrough. I didn't know yet that I needed the jewelry, like, from her. Like, I was still playing around with rubbing up against walls for jewelry at the time. So I just, like, I saw the lighter fluid in the shed and used it on the barbecue, not knowing what it would do. And she turns, like, she like gets real crispy in that pool. Oh yeah. Yeah, it was really kind of disturbing. So can you just, like, go to the side of the pool and pick it up?
Yep. You can literally walk into the pool, go up to her body, take it off of her, and then walk away, and none of the guards will back.
They don't give a fuck.
Yeah, must not like her. So after doing that rather unelegantly, I went downstairs and I hung out in that living room that the closet that Vinny hides in is in for, it must have been 30 minutes, just, like, trying to figure out how to get the guard away. Because no matter how many coins I tossed, he was not budging.
The motherfucker was committed.
And then eventually, like, two guys hang out, and one guy does the, like, classic witness protection, look out the window thing forever. So I'm just sitting there waiting for him to walk away. Every now and then they just get weirded out by my presence and would pull out a gun on me and kill me. And so I'd start waiting again, try and find a safe spot in the room to chill. Eventually, the guy leaves, and I just go, I don't think there's going to be any other way to do this. So I just lit up the security guard at the door, opened the door, and took out Vinny, and then ran out through the garage.
Did you get, like, caught at that point, or?
Surprisingly, I did not get chased.
Like, it was like a silenced gun.
It was a silenced silver baller.
Okay, yeah, that's why.
Yeah, so not an elegant finish, but it was a gameplay experience that I really enjoyed.
It was a finish nonetheless.
Yeah.
I did a playthrough where I did something similar where, like, you're in the room and the security guy is sitting there and Vinny's watching TV and he's, like, yelling about football or whatever it is. And I had that similar realization where I was just like, I cannot get the security guard to budge. And I was like, so I literally, like, I'm not even joking. Vinny's, like, sitting there complaining about football, and I literally just pulled out my silent silver baller, shot him in the head, and then walked out the door, like, really quickly before the guard could look around. They didn't even bat an eye. I kind of wish that I had stayed in the room just so they could have been like, oh my god, what happened? But, like, I didn't even get, like, caught or anything. Like,
yeah, no.
He just looked out the window, looked back, and was dead.
I think it's worth mentioning that the silver baller is a very satisfying weapon to shoot.
It is.
It has a real good sound.
Yeah, definitely is.
Even when it's unsilenced, it has a very good sound.
Mm-hmm.
I fucking love that game.
But there's only one mission I don't really like. And that mission is the tutorial mission, Death of a Showman, which I had to do twice.
Yeah, I don't think anybody liked that one. Fuck.
So it force feeds you, like,
so it's
walk here, walk there.
Yeah, it's very linear. Like, it does a good job at walking you through all the different things you can do, but it does it in a way that the rest of the game is nothing like that, you know? Like, it doesn't really put its best foot forward in any way.
Had I, like, I kind of agree with you where, like, had I been, if I didn't know anything about the series, which I didn't at the time, I don't know, I just kind of gave it another level, another shot. Had that been my introduction to it, with it being that linear, I probably would have been quite turned off if that was how I perceived the game at the time. Because I wouldn't want to just be like, walking in a line just to get to a target. That seems very boring.
Yeah.
Yeah, that level was fucking shit.
But
I
also
remember, like, if, I don't know, go ahead.
I was just going to say at the same time, I don't know if they could just throw you into an open level and if you'd have a good enough understanding. Like, it's a hard dot to connect, I think. But go ahead and say what you were going to say, Tom.
Oh, no, I was just trying to think of, like, other levels that they were, like, any linear, but for the most part, like, I remember the Vineyard. Did the Vineyard have, like, 2 targets, or was it only 1?
2 targets.
Okay, yeah, alright, yeah. Yeah, fucking, yeah. Never mind. Nah. Game was pretty fucking soft.
Yeah,
I mean, like, the fucking White House one was kind of linear a bit. It was pretty scripted, like, when you got the dude. But other than that, like, because you would end up having that epic Hitman battle and stuff or whatever.
Yeah, the White House one was...
Or were there other targets in that game?
In the White House one, you had the senator, or the vice president, I mean, and the assassin.
Yeah, the assassin. Yeah.
So that level has a great moment where, I don't know if this always happens, but as you're approaching the Oval Office, I opened a door, and I discovered a body I hadn't left, and I jumped. I fucking, like...
Oh, because I think it was the fucking other assassin or whatever.
Yeah, I think he kills someone and hides it.
Yeah, I think it happens to everybody. I think it does.
That's such a good moment. It really, like, it kind of puts you in the shoes of like, somebody
what
who...
The fuck?
Yeah.
Things like that though too, where
the fucking the heaven and hell one. The chick's also like an assassin or whatever too.
Yeah, there's that one. There's also
and she'll kill you too. I forgot she's kind of like a boss fight. Then she started doing like cartwheels and shit like at you.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, that was fucking
No, the whatchamacallit? What's it called? You Better Watch Out. The Playboy one.
Yeah.
You have that. There's that other like assassin that you never know.
Oh yeah,
what her
that
name is.
Oh yeah, that like hooker chick.
Yeah, and she seduces you and then she like kills you.
Yeah.
But like if you look, I remember on the map I just started. I was kind of like looking through all the different like levels of the mansion, and I noticed that there was one of the circles with the X in it, indicating a dead body, and I just started, and I was just like really, someone's like dead already. So I kind of went and checked it out, and then it took me like after she killed me, I kind of realized.
Yeah.
Oh,
I just put her body right behind the couch too, so I fucked her up. Get out of here.
I just never went back in that room. I was like, you do you. I'm gonna take care of business. One interesting thing about that Dance with the Devil boss fight that you're referring to. So the first time I encountered it, so this is in the mission where there's the heaven and hell party. You can take like the one target, like the yellow devil kind of target. I killed him, took his outfit, and I went into his office, and I was checking out the laptop, and this game doesn't really do damage feedback for melee weapons, so she comes bursting in the door, yelling and screaming at me like she's gonna kill me, and she's doing flips around me, and I'm like, what the fuck is happening right now? And I don't realize my health is just like going down and down and down and down. Before I know it, I'm dead.
Yeah, I know. It does a really bad job of that. Not gonna lie. It's pretty brutal.
So what I ended up doing there was you can like meet up with her, and then she'll walk with you to the office, and then just as soon as you open the door, you just get the jump on her before she can start cartwheeling.
Essentially, but yeah, kind of thing is like you kind of have to like know that and like, yeah.
Well, like the first time I played that mission, she killed me.
Yeah, me too.
Because I thought if she leads you to her office, it kind of does like a cinematic of her killing you, like one of those things that you don't have any control over.
The 2 times I played, I got her running in, and then she started cartwheeling while I was using the laptop. And then the second time, I killed her like while the doors were still open. So I never got a cutscene.
That fucking bitch.
And it was in the office.
Huh. That's weird. Maybe I'm thinking of something else.
Level I really liked that, Tom, you mentioned you liked a lot was the Murder of Crows mission, which is the Mardi Gras level.
Yeah.
So in that mission, you have to take out 3 gang member kind of people. One who's like the big boss, and 2 grunts that are kind of lovers and assassins who are going to take out the president. I think it's the president or the vice president.
Or vice president.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's one of the 2, but yeah.
So that level.
Did you pick up the walkie-talkies and that?
Yes, I did pick up the walkie-talkie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Big Bird's gonna land in the nest tonight. Like,
yeah, I know.
oh my god.
Yeah, it's really heavy, but I loved, like, that was one of my favorite moments of this entire game was trying to kind of play tag with her and trying to catch up by using the clues on the walkie-talkie where she's like, I'm going to be in this place in a second, and then you're racing over there across the city to try to find her.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that was fucking, that was kind of a fucking pain in the ass for me, not to mention all the people. Also, it's going to sound fucking ludicrous, but I took an M4 with the drum mag, and I just went in the streets and fucking no rushing the shit out of all those fucking NPCs, like.
I threw one of the mines into the middle.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like, fuck, man. You just do whatever you can in that fucking level is great.
It's crazy. Like, we've had some games with big crowds and stuff since then, but it's still pretty impressive walking through that crowd now in 2016.
Oh, it is. I know.
Into the crowd in the new Hitman, in that mission you were, like the first mission you played there, Tom, the Paris fashion show.
Oh yeah, that one.
There's so many. I think they put as many people in that mansion as they had in that entire Mardi Gras.
Mardi Gras. Oh, I know. It was fucking crazy. Like that. Like I'm impressed by that fucking.
Yeah.
By the whole level design. I mean, there's just. I mean, I'm don't know. I'm kind of nitpicky when it came to like that shit. But that game is a fucking solid game. Like I can go and play that level right now just for enjoyment.
Yeah, no, it's really great, and
Really
that crowd isn't just for show too. Like it works in the game play too because it's really hard to spot your target in that giant crowd. Like you are doing that moment in like any Jason Bourne movie or James Bond movie where the bad guy runs into the crowd and you're chasing him, and then suddenly you're looking left and right, going, "Where the fuck is he? Where the fuck is he?" And then
it
you see
also
them
works for you too,
jump out of the crowd
because if you walk into the crowd and you have like a gun out, the people don't, if I remember correctly, they don't make a big deal. So you can actually walk around.
Like in the Paris one?
No, in the Mardi Gras one.
Oh yeah. Well, doesn't he like automatically kind of like hide his gun behind his back? Blood money.
He does. But like I'm saying that you can walk around like the street in the giant crowd and not get with a weapon. Like if you say you came across the girl as she was walking in that middle crowd, or like if you had like a knife or something and you killed her in the middle crowd, you could do that and just leave her body in the street and be undetected. If I remember correctly, like as long as you didn't get spotted by the cops that they had like on the corners and all that.
Yeah.
Or the presidential guards on his float, but.
You're definitely right.
It was very cool.
But yeah, I like that level a lot. It was really interesting. It was kind of hard the first time because I was trying to figure shit out. I didn't know where she was. I didn't realize you had to like get the walkie-talkie, and then yeah,
listen to their freaking like dirty talk.
I know. Yeah, fuck.
Polly wants a cracker tonight.
Papa Bird's gonna lay some eggs tonight. I'm like, oh fuck, man, like. Just says the same shit over and over again. I'm like, really think she's getting turned on, bro? Like,
do you get the opposite if you pick up her walkie-talkie?
If you kill the boss first, you get to hear them exchanging talks, and it's like the same lines all over.
Oh, jeez.
The sound engineer really went to town, like, or the fucking voice actors.
Another my personal favorite mission is well, I guess I might have said Murder of Crows is my favorite mission, but this is also one of my favorite missions is Death on the Mississippi, the big boat level, like the cruise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, really, that's the mission with the most targets. I'm pretty sure you have like
to kill like the captain and all the gators or something. Like
yeah, so it was really overwhelming at first, but when I finally finished that level, I had a incredibly elaborate plan to get through it. Like I was running up here, kill a guy here, put on this costume, get in here, talk to the guy, go to his room, get a costume from there, go to this room, drop my stuff here. Like it was crazy how elaborate my little plan was, and like when you pull it off, it was like so satisfying. Really
I know, yeah. The best part is like when shit goes unplanned and you still make it work. That's when it's kind of like, oh shit.
Yeah, it's great when things go bad right at the end, and like you have that big dramatic kind of.
Yeah, I know that fucking exit. Yeah, I know. It kind of happens a lot more often. I think.
Are there any other levels in particular people want to talk about? Just to mention a few, there's Curtains Down, the kind of upper level. I really enjoyed that one. Flatline.
Flatline.
Flatline's the rehab one, isn't it?
Yeah.
I did not like that one.
It wasn't much of
that one's probably on the lower end from my experience as well.
It was interesting in terms of like the setting. Like actually, I enjoyed the setting of like the rehab and all that, and certain like kills that you could do like with the bench press. I thought that was interesting, but like it was just so bland and otherwise, like just the actual like I don't know, all the costume changes you had to do in that one, and then I didn't really like the Mardi Gras one that much.
Really?
Yeah.
Any particular reason why, other than the voice?
It was I don't know. It seemed. I don't know. I just don't like it. I guess.
Yeah, for sure. So some other levels are the kind of the Deep South wedding till death do us part.
Did you ever? Well, I guess you probably wouldn't have come across it, Tyler. But did you ever get that Easter egg?
In the Mardi Gras?
No, in the hillbilly wedding, where you shoot the coin on the corner, and then like all these like guys in underwear come like chasing after you, like clapping their hands.
Oh yeah. I remember that one. Fuck, I forgot about that one. The fucking hillbilly wedding, yeah. The underwear. That was fucking hilarious. I feel like there was also an Easter egg in the Mardi Gras where like there's something like with like either like a bunny or like a duck or
I don't know.
Fuck, I can't remember. Or it was like a clown or something. Like I can't fucking remember. Man, yeah, I don't know. It's been a while, but
the wedding mission was definitely the mission I completed the fastest. I seem to accidentally finish that mission. Like I walked in, I followed that guy that gets drunk and like passes out in the building. Took his clothing, poisoned the cake. The groomsmen died because of that. And then I just happened to be walking around outside the back, and the father of the bride just happened to be standing there. And I was like, nobody's really around here. and I just pulled out the silver baller, shot him, and ran for my boat, and it was over. So I really didn't see a lot of what that level had to offer.
Not much, to tell you the truth.
Okay.
Yeah, honestly.
House of Cards
Yeah, that level,
is a pretty good one. Sorry, Tom, do you have something to say about the...
Oh, yeah, I forgot about House of Cards. That one was good. That was the one that had, like, 3 targets, too, didn't it?
Yeah, so you have the white supremacist, the scientist, and the guy from the Middle East.
The Sheik.
Yeah, the Sheik.
I liked that one a lot because you had... well, the setting was very nice. Like I said, I know they paid attention to a lot of detail in that casino. But I also liked, like, it was almost that level felt the most like a puzzle to me, because certain targets, you had to time it, like the sequence of events, to make sure everything was right. So, and then you also had, because I think one of the targets or two of the targets were up on the 7th and 8th floor or whatever. They were up high, and you couldn't, I guess for difficulty reasons, you could get to the 7th, but you had to find your way up to the 8th somehow, either by getting a key card or by scaling it.
This isn't House of Cards, right?
Yeah. Because like once you actually got up to like to the hotel part of the
Oh yeah, right. Like you couldn't get to that one level because it's restricted, right?
Yeah, and like you had to kind of
and you had to, like, go out yeah.
Scale up.
They have
So
kind
I
of
thought
a
that was
control.
interesting.
I remember I sniped the Sheik though from like up in.
Yeah, because you have to like call him. I think it's the scientist. You kill the scientist, and then you can like call him from his phone, and then you have like
And he
a
goes
perfect.
outside, gets better. Yeah, and the fucking pop his
Oh,
ball.
really? Interesting.
Oh, you didn't know that one?
No,
Yeah, he calls his phone, gets a better signal, goes outside, and then like right from like the scientist's room or whatever, like out on the balcony, like you have like a perfect fucking sniping angle, and then you can just escape right there on the balcony. I think like shimmy over, go down.
So I ended up abusing the elevators a lot in that level, because elevators are real safe spaces to kill people. Like you can just fiber wire people up, and then nobody will ever find that body. That's like the most morbid thing I've ever said. So I did that with the white supremacist and got his key card and went to his room, got his suitcase and put a bomb in his suitcase, and then you're supposed to bring that suitcase to the Sikh guy. So I go past security there, and he's in his little like back area at the bar, and I hand him the suitcase, and his security guard's like, "We're gonna have to search the contents before we give you the money." And I'm like, "That's unfortunate." And I just start walking towards the door, and like I was so afraid that they're gonna find it, so I barely like made it 3 meters before I set off the bomb, and I just sprinted out of there as fast as I could.
Bombs, Tom? I don't think.
What's
so.
that?
Are they able to find those bombs when they scan?
Yeah, I think so. Like the mines.
They don't when they scan you at the door. They don't find them, but he was like opening the briefcase.
Oh yeah. Well, it depends on the briefcase, because I think the briefcase was like an metal detector, whatever the fuck. Right.
Most things, the mine goes through for some reason. I don't know why. Like the.
It's either the briefcase or the mine. One of the two things.
Isn't it like a plastic explosive? I don't know. Either way.
Maybe. That would make sense. Anyway, I made it past the front door where they're like, "We're gonna have to scan you," but I got nervous when they were like, "We're gonna have to open up the briefcase and check the contents." So
when you blew it up, did they at least?
I panicked.
Kill the guy.
Yeah, I killed the Sikh, and I made a run for it. I think they're chasing me. I never looked back.
That was.
And they didn't look anywhere because they were in the wrong place.
Yeah, so I enjoyed that level, and then A Dance with the Devil's got kind of a unique gimmick with the 2 different parties that you can bounce back and forth between.
Yeah. Did you feed the sharks at all?
No.
Oh, you didn't feed the sharks? Oh man, bro.
No, I saw the sharks and I was like, "Is this what gave Ryan his fear of sharks?"
No.
I'll tell you what gave me my fucking fear of sharks. The game that we're gonna play next. Fuck.
No, if you could you could push people if you went to the hell place, there was all the security room, and you could see like in one of the areas where you could sneak around behind it, where the guy would go up to do his like little light show like on the catwalk, and then you could like rig the pyrotechnic stuff to it that would catch him on fire. Or you could also, so that was one way you could, if he caught fire, he would run and like flip over the handles, and then he'd be in the shark tank, and then eventually they'd eat him. Or there was like guards that were like hanging on rails that were like right above like openings to the tank, and you could like push them in or dump bodies in there, and then no one would really care. They'd be like, because they were so probably like high on drugs, like dancing in that little pit in hell, that like you literally drop them into the shark tank, and then they literally just get eaten. No one cared.
Yeah, no, I did not discover that. I'm really excited to go back to this game eventually and try different things. I think it would be real fun. So once you finally complete all the missions, your kind of intel person visits you in your hideout, and she it looks like you're under the impression that she's killed you. So the whole plot line with the journalist and the CIA agent, kind of, you catch up to that plot line with 47, and he's dead, and they're having a very fancy little funeral for him and kind of celebrating taking down this world-class assassin. And the credits start to roll. And I thought this was a pretty clever moment. If you start pressing inputs, I don't know what clued me into it, but
I'm pretty sure I told you.
Oh yeah, you did tell me. That would be it. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so that explains. Does UI pop up? Like what?
No.
You just hear your like heartbeat, and you can like.
Yes. Okay. So you start mashing buttons, and eventually you wake up and you start slow-mo, kind of firing at these people that have kind of been trying to take you down.
Pretty fucking cool.
I found it pretty hard. I don't know.
It was hard. I died so many times.
It was, yeah. It's because you like had no health. Like, you had to make every shot count.
If you hadn't taken out everybody in that room, by the time you reloaded, you were done.
Yeah, that was one of those times where you had to like do a what would it be? A needs assessment of your silver ball.
It's interesting because you can start like firing before you get off the table, and I thought that was really. I wasn't doing that initially. Like I was waiting for 47 to get up and stand up and start moving before I started shooting. But you really need to start firing as soon as you gain control if you want to take everybody down. And then the game doesn't end properly until you kind of clean shot. Is my impression. Like, do you have to take out everybody? That was the impression I got.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that was. What else are you gonna?
Yeah, that poor reporter. He really got more than he bargained for. Yeah, I thought that was a clever little moment. Nice little epilogue.
You know what was the worst about that? I just got reminded. Was that you had like no health. And then you'd be like, you'd take out all the guards in the immediate room, and you'd be like, thank God I survived that. And then you'd kill that one guard that would like run around the side of the building and come in.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'd be thinking like, oh, thank God, like I'm still alive. I have like no health. And you think that it's just the reporter and the guy in the wheelchair, it's just them. And the freaking guy in the wheelchair has like some like automatic pistol.
I know.
And you just like, he lit me up the first time that I played that. And I was just like, are you?
Oh, did you push him down the stairs?
No.
You guys didn't do that? Oh,
no, I didn't even know you could.
That's the funniest part about the fucking whole level, man. Okay, you know like when you get up and there's like all the guards? Fucking hilarious. I mean, kind of a bit brutal. But I mean, like, I think because he'll run out of ammo too, right? Like after you kill the guards, whatever, and if you like go behind like the altar, and like he'll just keep unloading or whatever, and then like when he's out of ammo, I think he's only got like one clip, too. But if you kill kill all the guards or something like that, except for him, like you leave him alive, so he's like the last one. But I guess besides the gardener or whatever the fuck, he's always at the gate. I think he'll start trying to run away, like the guy in the wheelchair, and he'll go towards the stairs because there's stairs that go all the way down from the church to like the ground or whatever. And he tries to go down the fucking stairs, and as soon as he hits the stairs, he literally just like falls out and he just dies like at the bottom. Like he just slides down the chair, like the stairs, and dies. Like, yeah.
I always killed him like
it's either that or you could push him
initial
first. Like, yeah, but yeah, you can kill him by the stairs. Kind of fucking great.
Yeah,
and
so
the
that's
reporter's just like knocking on like the gate, being like,
yeah,
someone please help me.
And then
I
really? Okay, so
I did feel bad for the reporter in that situation, but
so for me, the reporter was hanging out by the car.
yeah.
The car's at the bottom. He was like trying to get in the car, and then the priest was banging on the gate.
Oh, okay.
oh yeah, sorry, yeah. I think
I was like, what the heck does the priest have to do with any of this? Like I think I stood there beside the priest trying to open the gate as well for a bit. I'm not a good hitman. So that's going to be it for Hitman. Yeah, that's Hitman Blood Money. Any closing thoughts, just in general? Tom, thoughts on Hitman as a whole?
it's a great game. I mean, I feel like, I don't know, I would say more games should aspire to be like that. Kind of hard to, because like, so kind of like one of those like diamonds. Great game.
Yeah, definitely.
I'd definitely play it again. It's not kind of like one of those games you would play like where like over and over again, have a lot of replay value, but I definitely can't play like from time to time. Have that.
Ryan, any final thoughts? See, I disagree with Tom, and I think that it is a game that you can play.
Oh, well, I mean it is, but I mean like any game you play over and over again will fucking like you can only do everything so many times. Like you will get fucking.
That's true. Yeah, it's one of my favorites.
But you can't replay it. It's got a lot more replay value than most.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's just I think it's very. It's a strong game in its genre, and it's got a lot of replay value.
It's one of the only few games left that's like sort of.
And I think that the series, like it's set, like Blood Money, kind of was like a huge step forward, right, in the whole Hitman series as a whole. So I think that it was good in setting setting the stage for what Hitman is now, like with the episodic release. Like it's very similar to the old Blood Money gameplay, because Absolution to me kind of dropped the ball. But
Absolution was fucking terrible.
I wouldn't say it was terrible. I just didn't like it. It was more like it was kind of very similar to Death of a Showman, where it kind of like forced you to take a certain route to get to your targets.
Yeah.
But like the new one, it's more similar to Blood Money, and I think Blood Money was very strong because it allowed the series to develop that way.
Yeah, I think describing Absolution as like Death of a Showman might be the worst advertisement you could give that game. But yeah, I
recommend it maybe for the story value of like progressing the series, but not for the gameplay at all.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things. People seem to like the story of Absolution. I've heard of the people that have been positive about Absolution. I think generally it's a kind of a maligned game, but some people seem to like the kind of presentation of it all. So yeah, I'm gonna echo a lot of the stuff you said. I love how open this game is, and it's a game that is, when it says it's like an open sandbox game, it is very genuinely an open sandbox game. Like, it has huge possibility space and is very respectful of experimentation and just kind of coming at it in your own way. I think it's a great game among the genre. I think it's very unique within its genre. I don't think there's a lot of games like Blood Money. There's a lot of games, like a lot of the games that I feel like play very similarly to Blood Money are kind of in a slightly different genre. Like closest experience I've had to Blood Money would probably be something like Dishonored, or there's elements of Blood Money, I think, in stuff like Metal Gear Solid 5, and your more kind of approach it how you may kind of stuff. But even looking at Metal Gear, like Hitman is very much its own thing. But yeah, this game is fantastic. One of the greatest games of all time, I feel pretty safe saying.
Really?
Yeah,
really?
For sure.
Wow.
It is.
Coming from you, I'm actually fucking surprised.
Yeah,
that is certainly within my top 50.
Because I thought you would have been like, it's pretty fucking linear, even though you have open control.
No, I think this game is fantastic.
And it's definitely like bottom 50, Last Guardian, forever and always. But anyways, I'm surprised.
Yeah, no, I loved it.
That's good though.
Yeah,
I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah, so that's been Hitman Blood Money. Maybe we'll return to the later Hitman entries, or maybe we'll look back at some of the Hitman earlier entries another time. So next month, or we're aiming for the end of October, if you're going to play along, we'll be playing Resident Evil remake, specifically the GameCube and later Xbox 360, Xbox One, PS3, PS4, and PC re-release of the original Resident Evil. We'll be playing through the entire game. The date, we're targeting the end of October. We'll see how we progress through it. So if you want to play along, join us then. Thank you so much for being here.
Not this again.
And with that, I'd love to thank you.
What a savage. What a fucking...
I'd love to thank you for joining us, Tom and Ryan.
Thank you for having us, Tyler.
Yeah, no.
Oh, man.
And until next time.
Si, senor.